Welcome to the Big Perch Nerd, the Ermahgerd Berkshire, the 400th Kraken extravaganza, well, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, Jerk, and I hope you are doing well. Some of you look a little bleary-eyed, no doubt waking up with the crack of dawn to find out what is going to leave you enraged, but still unable to walk away. But first, let me get the commander and modules up on the big screen so you can see who I am using in this replay in the background. Pay to win. And I'm taking out the Roma as I have only had it on the show once before, and since so many Italians are getting so many changes this update, I thought it would be fitting. Before we turn this over to the KRKN Channel 5 news crew, let me just give you a little something to pay attention to in the background. Me and my old div mate are going to sink the entire red team between the two of us, and I'm not saying the blue team doesn't help, of course. Just that we managed to secure all of them, which is not really a common occurrence. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. Do you love freedom? Well, you had better, because you are going to be getting a lot of freedom rewards for getting your freedom on. You can get yourself a Tier 3 premium battleship, the South Dakota, for free. There are lots of camos, big crates, promotion orders, yada yada, packages, bundles, a limited time bureau project for another sweet camo. Yeah, limited time. If you don't finish it in time, you get nothing. Well, you don't get the ultimate prize. Meanwhile, in Campaign Land, we have another one of those choose-your-own adventures. This time for the Tier 7 U.S. Destroyer USS Black, which, imagine a Fletcher with radar but no speed boost, and even slower but harder-hitting torps. Or you can pick up the Tier 5 carrier, the Independence, which, I don't know, they used to have it on PC, and it was removed. Not for being too good, it was part of the carrier rework, but I guess it's on a Cleveland hull, and it's pretty decent speed and has good AA, but a small hangar. I don't know, that's about all I can tell you. Now, I'm not sure it's worth the money to get both, but of course you can. Personally, I think the Black is probably the better choice, especially with the reworked economy going on in this update. So let's get into that. Yeah, first, there is no Tier 8 this update, but it will be in the next one, so this update is laying the groundwork. And since we're talking about Tier 8, we are going to be getting a big batch of battle boats for 4 nations, and while we won't know which those are until this patch launches, there has been much detective work into Robin's glitchy teaser, with most suggesting US ships, Japanese ships, German ships. Now, for the 4th one, some say French, and others say Russian. It doesn't matter to me, I'm just happy we're getting a whole bunch of them all at once. As part of this, there will be special missions for you to get additional XP on top of your Tier 7 ships to allow you to help populate Tier 8 as soon as they become available. I've looked through all possible nations that people have predicted, and I'm 95% certain I have at least a million XP on all of those tech tree ships, so I should be able to pick all of them up on day 1 in 5 weeks. But how much will they cost? Well, we don't know yet, but service fees for Tier 6 are reduced. Tier 7 service fees are reduced as well. Tier 7 premiums, of which there are plenty, are getting an additional reduction of service fees, and on top of that, the credit bonus at Tier 7 is going up to 55% from 15%. So I don't want to hear anyone ever again say service fees at Tier 7 are too much. No. I did notice there are no price changes to the actual ships, but assuming there are, and there should be, I expect that those will come in the next update. Look at that stealthy torp dodge. Now, in conjunction with the aforementioned Tier 3 South Dakota that you'll be able to pick up for free, we will also be able to get the Pan-European battleship Verbis Unitas, who will come with a commander that I think reduces burning damage or something. Don't quote me on that. Next up, balance changes. You remember all those balance changes we read in the dev blog way back when? Well, they're all here, except the Weimar still hasn't moved, and still no concealment mods for the Tier 6 and up battleships. But Kid is getting buffed, Nagato is getting buffed, Azuma is getting super buffed, and this one is, that one's going to be very interesting. And for the Italians, Roma is getting buffed a lot. This is another very spicy buff. It's going to become quite the brawler. All the other Italian battleships are getting faster reloads, but most importantly, all the Italian premiums are getting sap for testing, and I should say the Italian premium cruisers. I don't want to allude that Roma's getting it, because it's not. And what will those penetration values be, so you nerds can know? Well, for 203s, the sap shells will pin 55 millimeters, and for those 152s, you will be pinning 42 millimeters, from Blip's fingertips to your ears. And what does that mean? Well, that means Duca de Pasta's reload is not changing at all, which means yikes. Like I said, this is a test. It's probably going to be tuned, so enjoy it while it lasts. However, Abruzzi will be getting a 3-second longer reload on sap shells, so Ouija can have some data points to compare. Either way, I took out the Abruzzi earlier this week and had 110 shell hits for 30,000 damage. Now, sap isn't going to, by some magic, be some shell that wrecks everything, but that number should be much higher when we get to test it next. And I am specifically looking at the Duca de Pasta. That may very well become one of the best, if not the best, tier 4 cruisers. Now, outside of that, we've got some bug fixes with camos and more weather effects being added. But that, folks, is the patch notes. What do I think? Well, there is nothing in here I'm upset with, so that's good. But there is also nothing in here that I am super excited about. Well, you know what? Ostergotland will be here for me to pick up, and I'll have the Black and Independence to play with, and I guess the Azuma buff is going to turn that into a new ship, as well as the Italian cruiser. But okay, well, you know what? There are actually some pretty good stuff in here, but still, this is going to be a long 5 weeks of waiting for all those new tier 8 ships. But at least they are coming, and at least they are coming pretty soon. And with that, we can get to this match. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I just went up between B and C at the very beginning, and when I was never spotted, I immediately knew there was no destroyer over there. The red team had abandoned that flank entirely, and that's when I just put the pedal to the metal. And hold on a second, this is going to be ship number 3. Look at that Italian penetration on these battleships. That's why I'm saying that Roma is going to be quite spicy with these buffs. Having that exhaust smoke to be able to do the moves like I did in the Vittorio Veneto video, that's going to be nice. Anyway, so after we pushed around there, yeah, we just got rid of those cruisers and have steadily been making our way down here. Let's yoink this for ship number 4. And at this point, I was pretty certain that we're on the Kraken game, because there are 2 ships left. Well, for me, there's this Hipper. Maybe I can dev strike him, but let's be real. What are the chances of an Italian battleship being able to hit a cruiser that size at, where are we, 16 kilometers away? Well, I would say that they are slim and none, unless you happen to be using a pay-to-win commander. But I'm actually not going to dev strike it. I am actually just going to get a Citadel, and then I'm going to turn my attention over to this King George that I've been moving towards and angling towards this entire last 3 or 4 minutes, because that King George is mine. That is my safety net for the Kraken. If you've been watching this game, that King George has kind of just been sailing in circles, and, you know, I don't really know why their whole team kind of moved down to this end, but as soon as they did that, they had lost the game. But getting here, I was like, okay, who's my main competition on yoinking this? Probably this Munchen over to my left. Now, maybe poor form to be happy when your teammate sinks, but when they do go down here, I'm like, well, that is it. This is definitely going to be mine. And you'll see, I'm not holding my shots here. I never hold my shots. I always take it as soon as the reload is ready, so I don't want to hear anybody saying that I'm kill stealing. Anyway, we get this one, and I'm like, here we have it. No, but we do pick up a Confederate there, and that's always pretty good. Now I'm starting to worry a little bit. I'm like, okay, this Munchin is going to kill this King George. That could be a problem. However, there goes the King George shot. No more Munchin at this point. I knew what we had on our hands. We had Kraken number 400 in the Roma. Okay, let's see this scoreboard. 2,572 XP for a good game, and just like I promised, the div taking all 9. But GG to the blue team for the help, and GG to the red team for making it easy. I'm just kidding. And thank you all who have been here through all of these. It's funny to see where it started and where it is now, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. How do these patch notes have you feeling? Rejuvenated? Give it a thumbs up. Disappointed? A thumbs down. Questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you want to be there for my first look at these new battle boats, think about hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will get back out there for another, and we will talk then.